Today, we're going to dive into residential property valuation and walk through the home buying guide with focus on understanding the home appraisal process. This is a crucial step in buying a home because it helps determine the fair market value of the property you're interested in. Knowing how appraisals work can empower you to make informed decisions and confidently navigate the purchasing process. We'll explore the key factors that influence appraisal values and what you can expect during this important part of home buying. A home appraisal is essentially an independent evaluation of a property's market value. This process is crucial because it provides an unbiased estimate of what the home is actually worth. Lenders rely on this appraisal to make sure that the value of the home is adequate to support the loan amount they're providing. In other words, the appraisal protects both the lender and the buyer by ensuring that the loan is based on a realistic and fair property value. When a lender is considering a loan application, they need an independent appraisal to determine the true value of the home. This is important for several reasons. First, it protects the lender's collateral, the home itself. Since the property secures a mortgage, the lender wants to make sure the home's value supports the loan amount they're offering. Second, the appraisal confirms a fair market value by comparing the agreed purchase price to recent sales of similar homes. This helps ensure the borrower isn't overpaying or the lender isn't lending more than the property is worth. Lastly, the appraisal guides the lender's final decision. If the appraised value comes in lower than expected, they might reduce the loan amount or ask for changes to the deal. This process ultimately helps manage risk and maintain fairness for all parties involved. Let's walk through the typical appraisal process timeline. It usually takes 1 to 2 weeks from when the lender orders the appraisal to the delivery of the final report, but this can vary based on a market and appraiser availability. It starts at day 1 when you submit your loan application. The lender begins verifying property's value as part of this initial step. Between days 1 and 3, the lender orders an independent, licensed appraiser to assess the home. The appraiser then schedules a visit, typically between days 3 and 7. During the on-site review, the appraiser thoroughly inspects the property, taking note of its condition, size, features, and location. Between days 5 and 10, they conduct a market analysis, examining comparable sales and making adjustments to estimate a fair market value. Finally, the completed appraisal report is delivered to the lender, who will use that information to proceed with the loan decision. These milestones, from application through final valuation, are key to understanding how the appraisal fits into the overall mortgage process. On this slide, we're focusing on the licensed valuation professional who conducts the appraisal. This person plays a crucial role by providing an independent opinion of the home's market value specifically for the lender. Their qualifications are important to note. They must be licensed or certified, thoroughly trained in valuation standards, and well-versed in the local market data to ensure an accurate assessment. Their role involves physically measuring the home, carefully reviewing its condition, and then comparing it to recent sales of similar properties nearby. What really sets the appraiser apart is their independence. They act as a neutral third party, meaning they don't work for the buyer or the seller, but solely for the lender. This impartiality ensures the appraisal is unbiased and reliable, which is essential for making informed lending decisions. When evaluating a home, the appraiser looks at several key factors to determine its true value, and it's important to understand that this value is based on evidence, not emotion. First, location, lot size, and neighborhood appeal play a critical role. Where the home is situated and the surrounding area significantly impact its desirability and market worth. Next, the interior matters, specifically the square footage and layout. A well-designed space that's functional and flows well add value. The market itself is another crucial factor, meaning recent comparable sales in the area help set a benchmark for pricing. Then there's the condition of the property. The overall upkeep and any updates may contribute to the home's value. Finally, risk elements such as needed repairs or safety concerns are carefully considered, as they can affect both immediate costs and future investment potential. Altogether, these evaluation factors provide a comprehensive, objective view of a home's value. Here, we focus on recent neighborhood sales as a key valuation method. Essentially, comparable sales establish the baseline for the market value of a property. Appraisers examine homes in the area that have sold recently, ideally within the last 3 to 6 months, and that share similar characteristics like size, age, condition, and layout. They then make adjustments to account for any meaningful differences between those properties and the one being appraised. For example, a comparable home in the same subdivision with a similar layout that sold for $412,000 can serve as a neutral baseline. The closer the match between the comparable property and the subject home, the more weight it carries in determining the final appraised value. This approach ensures the valuation is grounded in current market realities and relevant local data. When appraisers evaluate a property, they look at much more than just size and location. Updated finishes, solid systems like plumbing and electrical, and visible upkeep all contribute positively to the property's value. On the other hand, deferred maintenance, things that haven't been taken care of, can significantly reduce the appraisal. Homes that are clean, functional, and move-in ready tend to appraise at higher values. This is because they show obvious care and readiness for the next owner, which is very appealing. However, if the property has worn flooring, peeling paint, damaged fixtures, or repairs are needed, these issues often lead appraisers to make downward adjustments in value. Essentially, well-maintained homes support stronger appraisals, while deferred repairs can pull the value down. When we talk about appraisal risks, it's important to understand the common reasons why appraisals might come in lower than expected. Most low appraisals stem from factors related to market evidence, the condition of the property, or features that buyers just aren't willing to pay extra for. There are 5 frequent triggers to watch out for. First, comparable sales play a major role. If recent comps in the area sold for less, especially homes of similar size, age, and condition, they set a lower benchmark for your appraisal. Second is property condition. Deferred maintenance, like worn roofs, old systems, visible damage, or unfinished repairs, immediately reduces the perceived value of a home. Third, market shifts can impact appraisals. If prices are cooling due to rising inventory or slower demand, values tend to drop quickly. Fourth, upgrades or renovations often don't fully translate into added value. While improvements help, luxury finishes rarely equate to a dollar-for-dollar increase in appraisal. Finally, location and function matter. Homes situated near busy roads, those with awkward layouts, or limited bedroom and bathroom counts can face buyer resistance, which negatively affects the final opinion of value. Understanding these triggers can help manage expectations and guide decisions throughout the appraisal process. When you receive a low appraisal, it's important to approach it like a decision workflow. First, start by verifying the value. Take a close look at the appraisal report and check for any errors in square footage, upgrades, lot details, or comparable sales. Sometimes mistakes or missing facts can impact the value, so validating these inputs is your first step. Next, if you believe the appraisal doesn't reflect the true value, ask for reconsideration. You can submit stronger comparable sales or additional property details through your lender to support a revised appraisal value. This evidence might just help adjust the appraisal to a more accurate figure. If the appraisal remains low, the next step is to renegotiate the purchase price with the seller. If they agree to lower the price, it can help you move forward with the loan without needing extra cash on hand. Finally, you need to decide how to close the gap if there's still a difference after renegotiation. You might need to bring more money to the table. Consider switching lenders if you have that option. Or, if your contract allows, walk away from the deal to protect your budget. By following these steps, you can protect your financial interests before proceeding. When speaking with your appraiser, it's important to use the conversation as an opportunity to really understand the value of your home, the comparable sales they considered, and the condition of your property, not just to get a final number. First, ask which recent comparable sales mattered most. This helps you see exactly what nearby homes influence the appraised value, giving you context about how your property fits in the market. Next, inquire about how differences in size, age, and upgrades were adjusted. This shows how your home was compared beyond just surface-level similarities, helping you understand the reasoning behind the adjustments. Also, ask if any repairs or condition issues affected the valuation. This is especially important if you know your property has maintenance needs or deferred repairs, as these can impact the final value. Be sure to find out how the neighborhood itself factored into the appraised value. Location trends can either boost or limit pricing, So understanding this influence is key. Finally, if you see something that doesn't seem accurate in the report, ask what documentation you can submit for reconsideration. Knowing how to correct facts or provide stronger comparable evidence can be crucial if you believe the appraisal missed important details. Appraisals play a crucial role in protecting the loan and shaping the deal. The process is straightforward when buyers know what is being measured, why it's important, and how to respond if the appraisal comes in lower than expected. When buyers come prepared, they ask better questions and avoid last-minute surprises. First, an appraisal estimates the market value of the property. This estimate is based on recent comparable sales, the location, size, features, and the overall condition of the home. Second, lenders use the appraisal to manage their risk. It helps confirm that the home's value supports the mortgage amount being requested. Third, the condition of the property and comparable sales matter most. Repairs that need to be made, deferred maintenance, and weak sales in the area can all reduce the final value. Finally, a low appraisal value doesn't necessarily end the transaction. Buyers have options. They can renegotiate the price, challenge any errors in the report, add more cash to cover the difference, or walk away if the contract allows. Having clarity on the home's value makes the final steps of the process more predictable and manageable. These four core decisions are key for buyers to understand and navigate successfully.